All right, in this example, I'm going to go over how to do electron configuration using a visual aid, and then also how you can use it by just using the periodic table. So let's take a look. First up, we're doing magnesium. The first thing that you need to know is how many electrons magnesium has. So I'm looking at the periodic table. It is number 12. So it's going to have 12 electrons. Okay, so now that we know it has 12 electrons, let's start filling them in. So these represent the energy levels. So the 1 is the first energy level, 2 is the second energy level, 3 is the third, and etc. So remember, the electrons want to go to the energy level that's the lowest first, because that requires the least amount of energy. So we need to fill in these boxes 12 electrons, but also by following the rules that we mentioned the other day. So let's start off. First one is an up arrow, and the second one is a down arrow. So because the first energy level only has one box, you don't have any options. You have to put them both in this first box here. So that's our first energy level. The second energy level, we'll put our first one here, and we can't put them in here because they're higher up, and as you move up, the amount of energy required increases. So we want to go to the lowest energy first. So the fourth one has to go here. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we get to here, and that's our fifth. Before we can put any down arrows, we want to make sure that we fill these up individually first. And then we can start doubling them up. So here we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We're trying to get to 12, so we need 2 more. So here's 1 more, and then another. So magnesium is going to have this electron configuration. Now we need to write this out. So the way that we would write this out is we just take the numbers here, and however many electrons are in all those boxes, the corresponding boxes. So for 1s, we only have 2 arrows, which are 2 electrons. So we would say 1s2, and the 2 is a superscript. And then the next one is 2s2. The next one is 2p, and there's 6 arrows. And then 3s2. This is the electron configuration for magnesium. Now, let's say we don't want to draw this out every time. You can actually figure this out from the periodic table because we labeled it, right? We said that this is the S, these are the Ds, these are the Ps, and then down here are the Fs, right? So if you think of the periodic table as a book, and you're going to read the book until you get to whatever element you're looking for, in this case it's magnesium, we're going to stop here. So how do you read a book? You start in the upper left side, right? So you start here, and then we just go through reading and reading. Now this is 1, it's an S, and the last S here is 2. So it's 1s2, that's corresponding to this. And then after 2, this is the third element, so we would come down here and go across both of these. So now we're at 2s2, which corresponds to this. So these are the first 2, these are the second 2. And now we're at 4, we have to go to 5. So here's 5, these are all in here. You kind of go to the end of each section if you can, and write down whatever the last one is. So the last one for this is 2p6. So that's where the 2p6 came from. And then after 10, we go to 11. So we're at 3s, and then we stop here. This is 3s2. So then we stop right there. So you can actually just go through the periodic table by following it in order, and every region or every suborbital that you go through, you just have to write down. So then you can keep track of them all right? So there's this way to kind of visualize it, and then there's also just using the periodic table to just write down exactly where you're moving across, all right? All right, let's try another one. All right, here we have silver. So silver is Ag, it's number 47. So this one's going to take a little bit longer. what I recommend you do is give it a try and then check the next video on how to do this one.